Michael, first of all, let me say, on behalf of the Institute, sincere appreciation for coming to give us a speech today. It's a great honour to have someone of your stature and expertise talk on what we think, in the digital group at least anyway, to be a very topical area. So Michael, I won't take much of your time because obviously you've just given us an informative question and answer session already. So I'll just ask you 3 questions. First of all, Michael, obviously ICANN, as you alluded to in your speech, is undergoing an evolutionary path. A lot of the digital revolution was not foreseen, at least not to the extent that we experience now. So Michael, I suppose what I'd like to ask you is, first of all, about the AOC, the affirmation of commitment that has recently occurred on ICANN. And I want to ask you about the significance of that, and if, in your opinion, that adds or takes away from the stability and security of ICANN and its workings.
Thank you for your question. The affirmation of commitment is a step forward in the right direction to bring this conclusion. Why in the right direction? Because there has been criticism regarding 2 elements. The first one is the transparency and the accountability of ICANN. And secondly, the non-sufficient internationalization of ICANN, meaning that there is a unilateral role of the United States and there's not a level playing field between governments. Now, what we have in the affirmation of commitment, we have a process that has been jointly put in place by ICANN and the United States government, whereby there are certain targets and there are review mechanisms. And the first review that will take place is on accountability of ICANN. There are other reviews regarding security, competition, data protection, but this is the first review. And these review panels will have representatives of different constituencies and hopefully of different governments from different regions of the world at different levels, including the developing world. And this will, if it is well done, give more credibility to the process and also to the ownership of the other stakeholders and of governments worldwide, not only the United States government. So that is a positive direction that we, and hopefully, are going on now.
Thank you. Which prompts me to add, I suppose, a related follow-on, Michael, in terms of this positive direction, more inclusion, more cooperation, increased stability. Do you think, is this something, obviously you may not know offhand, but do you think this is something that the new president of ICANN can add? Is it something that would be high on Mr. Beckstrom's agenda?
Well, I have a high appreciation for Mr. Beckstrom and his innovative approach, his open approach, and his, I think, almost also multicultural approach, and his intentions. And I know from his background, he has been dealing with stability and security of systems, and he has had a role in the US administration that dealt with it, that this is for him a very important issue, and it has been, and is for me, a very important issue. For the European Union, it has always said that this is one priority, and this is now, I think, actively tackled in the ICANN context regarding the expansion of the root zone file with IP version 6, with internationalized domain names, with new GTLDs, and most importantly with DNSSEC, where there is a verification of what you ask, you get by encryption mechanisms. Well, this is, of course, putting some tension on the system, and this has to be checked so we have the stability maintained. But we also should act. ICANN is only one actor.
Mm-hmm.
There are many more actors that contribute and assure us of the stability of the internet. There's not a single actor. Sometimes it's a strength not to have a single point of failure.
Absolutely. And lastly, Michael, and I thank you again for taking these questions. You correctly highlight ICANN is a single actor, but it is a very important actor, which prompts me to ask you about the whole area of copyright. Obviously, ICANN can't be the voice solely here, but I'd be interested in your take on it anyway. I'm very interested in, for example, the recurring theme of national law within the global context. And you have various member states within the EU, and also obviously countries outside of the EU, taking different slants to copyright. I'm thinking illegal downloading. And I'm just wondering, do you think within the EU, for example, is there any chance of getting some kind of any recurring design or some method of cohesion within the territory regarding this whole area, this broad and complicated area of copyright infringements?
First of all, on the issue of national law in the global context, in the global system, let me make clear, ICANN doesn't have the job to harmonize anything, not even through the back door. That they should be dealing with DNS, and they should be dealing with IP addresses. However, very often we have other issues coming up. The WHOIS and data and the application of national data protection law. We had this discussion regarding the European area within the Governmental Advisory Committee of ICANN. We do have, and we will have, questions of national law and order or morale in the context of discussions which new GTLDs should be accepted. So there is always something coming in. The copyright issue is something that is a very pervasive issue in member states of the Union, but worldwide. And it is quite clear that the challenges that we are facing are not only legal challenges, there are challenges of business models, there are challenges of behavior, but it is something which I think one has to tackle with a creative mind, because one should be able to combine creation and creativity and the need that creativity has some kind of counterweight in getting some remuneration for this, with the need of the consumer to have access. And we have to look at ways, for instance, in Europe to get this. I am personally sometimes frustrated when I want to buy, as a resident in Belgium, music on my iPhone from Germany. Now I can do this if I go to Amazon and have a physical support, but I can't do it on the net. I mean, that is a pity. I don't even have within Europe the access to my cultural heritage. I think we have to find ways to create a win-win situation, rather at the moment as than thinking we are in a defensive battle of different camps, where one camp thinks everything is free and the other camp thinks we have to stick to the same mindset that we had before. There have been some business models that work and which have shown that the consumer is ready to pay if it's made easy and affordable, and there is so it's not like everybody wants everything free. So one has to be creative, one has to be constructive, and one has to get out of the trenches.
Absolutely. Michael, on behalf of the Institute again, let me just say a personal thank you. We're delighted that you came to speak to us today, and continued success in your work at ICANN as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.